Hey, welcome to the Backyard Blitz. We're back. It's playoff time. We're ready to go. Drew, what are you going on? What are you squinting going on? Yeah, it's me. I know.
Good. Is that you guys?
Who's this guy?
Is that you?
Look at that.
Brandon,
What's going on, fellas?
What's going on, boys? It's good to see you. I missed you last week. I missed you.
I know, man.
Yes,
I know.
sir.
I missed you, man. I missed you and your shades and your laid back personality. I missed you guys last week, man.
I miss you too, bro.
Definitely miss you guys.
Weird
week.
circumstances. We could,
Yeah.
we could touch on that too. It was just weird, man.
Yeah, just it felt weird. I think everybody was just waiting for news, right, for Damar Hamlin that he was going to be okay. I think once we kind of figured out and got news that he was like FaceTiming his teammates, and then I think like a day later he was checked out of the hospital, and now like he's back. So what a difference a week makes. Super happy about that. I think that kind of took the angst off everything.
Yeah, I mean, dude, let's call what it is. Like last week at this time, dude, I was not, we had a pre-production meeting, and I was not, and you guys were, right there.
Yeah, we're the same
there too. I just didn't feel like doing a show was important at that night. And I told, like, my whole thing is what our show is based on is football, but a comedic relief, a good comedic relief. And I just didn't feel like we could achieve that last week, and I didn't feel like it was appropriate. And I think, making a decision that we made was the correct one. We tried to figure out ways to kind of sneak in a short show over the weekend. It just didn't work out. And, I don't regret anything about last week. The turnaround that Damar has made is unbelievable.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that we could come on here and we can be ourselves with a clear conscience and not have to worry about any, we shouldn't feel bad. It's celebrate, and it's a time to be happy and joyful. And, it was a tragic thing, but what an outcome, man. A miracle, I guess.
Yeah. And I think, and kind of, to that point is, we talk a lot about the good stuff about football. We enjoy football. We played it at a high level. We watch it, we cover it. But that was one of the things that's the not so fun part. And we've been, around long enough where we've seen some injuries kind of happen, serious injuries happen on the field, but nothing ever like that. Never ever like that.
Dude,
so I think
that was the scary part for me, man. And we could talk about it for a little bit now that it's kind of processed and stuff like that. Like watching that game, like I'm watching. I walk in the door, and I think I had gone downstairs to like get.
Did he freeze up?
I think he did.
I think he totally froze up. So while he's frozen there, what did you think about it, Slick?
Like, man, you talked about, it was crazy for me because I was watching it live, and when he made the tackle, at first I didn't know exactly what happened. Like, it was weird because he made the tackle, and I saw one of his players like fall feet first, and then he just collapsed. So I thought like somebody like hit his knee or something, and then adrenaline was pumping, and he got up, and then he felt it, and then he just fell until like they slow played it, put it in slow motion. I was like, oh, that's crazy. Yeah. And it just like had me like, and like, wow. Like, man, it threw me off because like I told you, like you just said, like at any given moment from the first time we picked up a football and played tackle football, like that could have happened to one of us or somebody that we knew.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. And I think like when we seen the Ryan Shazier injury a few years back, it was like the same scene in a way, but the thing that kind of changed the way that I thought about it was when Joe Buck said they were performing CPR on the field. I was like, oh my gosh. And that's when I think for everybody it was like, oh, this is way worse than anything that we actually thought was happening. But yeah, I'm glad that he's back. Like the first thing that he said, I guess, was, did we win?
Did we win? Yeah.
Win. And I think that shows the character of him. Like that was where his thoughts were. Cause he probably, from my understanding, he didn't know anything that happened. And then the doctors responding to him was like, you won life, man. and then he kind of learned everything that happened to him. And I think the way that he's responding, like the way that the Bills and that whole game kind of took place, the first play was absolutely amazing. But yeah, I'm so happy that he's good.
Am I
like football's good. You're back now.
Yeah. So like I said, I was like, it was just you could just tell it was different. I walked into the bedroom and saw the ambulance on the field and stuff. I said to my wife, I said, this isn't good. And I was glued to my television for the next 2 hours, watching everything. And I think I refreshed Twitter 500
that's
times
what I was
that
doing.
night.
That's what I was doing.
I've been a part of that one other time where there was CPR and AED like used on the field, and it was in person, like during a game that I was involved in.
Oh man.
And dude, that was like, it's something that doesn't happen. Like we've been a part of the game how many years, like, and we can count on one hand how many times we've seen that stuff happen.
Yeah.
So it was just different, man. But on a lighter note, now that we can, like I said, we can do this show, I think, without any reservations.
Sure.
I told that story about Tony and the tail a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I think the tails are back after me because I've killed 2 mice outside my house since then. So those little bastards have infiltrated my home.
It's because it's getting cold there, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
It's cold.
So,
they want to get inside.
I never had mice before, and I told that damn story, and now they're popping up all over the place in my backyard. So my dogs aren't doing a good enough job.
Man, that's crazy. Well, I can't wait to talk about football. We got a ton to cover, and you know what? It's playoff time.
Playoffs?
What?
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
And we know when it's playoff time that it's something special. So we got something special for the playoffs for everybody
What is it?
here.
What?
Well, I'll just introduce them to you. That's right. It's the Prophet. He's going to join us for the playoffs and talk about all the good stuff, man. Prophet, we missed you last week. We're so happy you're back from Atlantic City. We don't have Tony Three Thumbs keeping you there. That hat, though, is killing me. What's going on? OG.
No, I'm not froze like Slinger was.
My connection is unstable, like your brain sometimes.
Yeah.
What's up, guys?
What's up?
What's going on, man?
Man, it seems like it's been 2 weeks since I saw you guys last.
Absolutely. Well, I'm super excited. I know that we talked with the producers and everything, and we're happy that you get to join us for the playoffs and let us know.
Is he charging us extra for this, for a full show?
Yeah, that we'll leave that up to the producers.
Yeah, we'll take care of that after the show. We'll see how things go. Because I mean, I have to have a lot more.
Sorry, Drew Rosenhaus is here, and yep, he totally is.
We're good.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, I need a lot more material, man, for a whole show.
Well, man, I tell you what, we got a ton to talk about because we've been off the air for 2 weeks, so we didn't really get to cover week 17, but we know kind of everything that was going on in week 18. There was a lot of big games. We had Jacksonville and Tennessee. That was basically a playoff game. What was that? That wasn't on Thursday. That was on Saturday night.
Saturday night.
Yeah.
That was a huge game. We had Detroit and Green Bay, which was basically a playoff game for Green Bay, and then Seattle and the Rams. There was a whole lot of stuff going on there. So we're going to cover it all. We had coaches getting fired on Monday. So we got a ton going on. So with all of that being said, what stood out to you guys as far as the aftermath of week 18, kind of the culmination of the regular season? What really stood out to you guys? We'll go ahead and start off with Drew.
Starting off with me, man.
Starting off with you.
It's a tall task. Dude, we got 2 weeks. We're gonna kind of bypass week 17 and talk about what's going on heading into the playoffs here. Regular season's over, obviously. My biggest takeaway from the final week of the season and here going into the playoffs has got to be the turnaround of the Jacksonville Jaguars, man.
Man.
We talked about these guys early in the season, and I know,
there.
How many times did we say this team could go one or two ways? And for them to win the final 7 games, I guess, in 6 or 7 in a row.
Yeah.
We started the season 3-8.
Yeah.
Like everybody wrote these guys off, myself included. I wrote Trevor Lawrence off. I said, this guy needs to start stepping up or he's not going to be considered the top quarterback that we all thought he could be. Now you're talking about somebody who's got, close to 4,100 yards passing. I think he's got like 29 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Who just really turned around, his season. Talk about a head coach with his first year with the team. Talk about going from where they were last year with Urban Meyer and now where they are with Doug Peterson, and these guys are ready to run through walls for him. And you could get that sense, this past week against the Titans. Dougie P, man, he's no slouch. He's a good football coach. He's people forget that he's a pedigree of the Andy Reid coaching tree. He played behind Dan Marino for
Brett
3
Favre
or 4 years.
for a while.
He coached Brett Favre. Like, dude, he's been part of some great teams and coached great players. And dude, the guys care about him. He knows how to connect with his team, and it's evident. These guys love going out and playing for him. And we talk about it a lot. It's all about the playoffs is 0-0.
Yeah.
No, there's no records in the playoffs yet. It's who's hot now and who's going to get it done now. And I think, I'm not predicting the future, but the Jaguars are a team that a lot of teams don't want to see because they're playing well, they're playing inspired, and they're playing together, and they all believe in each other. And I think the Jaguars have been my biggest, takeaway from this final, few weeks of the season here.
Yeah, let's talk about it too, because Trevor Lawrence didn't actually play his best game against the Titans. It was the defense. They came up with a big play to get a strip sack fumble return for a touchdown to take the lead in that game with, I think it was like 3 minutes left or something like that. And that's really what won them the game. So they're finding ways to win the game. They're a young, fast team with some playmakers out there. And
they're fun to watch, dude. They're fun to watch. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I enjoyed that game. I was a zombie, man. I had strep throat over the weekend. I was watching that game. I had to bartend Saturday night, and it was the worst. It was terrible, but it was just I was watching that game at the event I was doing, and it was fun to watch.
They've got one of the absolute best defensive players on their team, in that Foyside Aluakun or
the linebacker, 23.
Yeah, he is an absolute monster out there.
Yeah, dog.
How Atlanta ever let him go get away last year, I don't know. But
they built themselves on speed. When they drafted Trayvon Walker, number 1 overall, you can tell that that's something that they covet within their players: the ability to cover ground, to be explosive, and it's awesome. What stood out to you in that, Ricky, with the Jaguars? Like, what I know that's how far away is Jacksonville from you, by the way?
3, I want to say. I think 3 hours north.
Is there a little bit of a buzz down there a little bit about the Jaguars?
Not my way, because we're closer to Tampa. So they're still hoping that they can do something remarkable and Tom Brady will be Tom Brady and all this other crap. Like, so
it'll be remarkable, Ricky.
They're focused on that. Oh yeah, we clinched with a terrible record, but we clinched our division and Tom Brady's gonna do this. Yeah, okay, whatever. So they're more focused on the Bucs.
So we actually, there is one fan that I know that's a Jaguars fan. He's in our chat, Tim Derrick. Now he's more of a Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne guy because he loves Clemson, but then he kind of chose them because of Trevor Lawrence. So he's been texting me, how about them Jags? And he kind of said, midway through the season, like, all right, you got your 5th win. And then 5 turns into 6 turns into 7. Next thing you know, that they're competing for the AFC South title, and bam, there it is. The Titans, I think that would they lose 7 in a row? something like that to close out the season, which is
how many weeks ago was it where you're like, the Titans will get in, and the Titans are going to get in, but they're not going to do anything. Dude, they didn't even get in.
They didn't even get in. Yeah. Like, I thought they would. As soon as Tannehill was done for the year, I think that was the tipping point of the point of no return. Like, this isn't happening at all this year. So Jacksonville's in. They're going to host a playoff game. That's phenomenal.
What I will say about the Jags, because at one point I was with Drew, especially when they had that little small window when they were up and down, where they're like beat a team that we don't expect them to beat, but then they'll lose to. And both of us were like, yeah, Jags, they're da-da-da. But I did say Trevor Lawrence is a winner. And if you're a winner, he's a winner on all levels. You don't forget how you don't forget the blueprint. Like, you'll figure it out some type of way. And it seems like he's figured it out, and it's starting to slow down for him. I can't knock him. Knock him.
Prophet had something to say.
Yeah, I want to give, I want to go on to the other side of that game and give kudos to a hometown boy here, Josh Dobbs. I mean, guy played pretty damn well for on Saturday night. For only being with the team 2 weeks.
Yeah.
He hadn't started a game in his whole career prior to the week before against Dallas, I believe.
Yeah, which that wasn't going to go well.
Yeah, but I mean, he played well. He had the one pick, that cost him the game. But other than that, he had a good game.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. So Jacksonville's in. That's phenomenal. I'm glad to see them. I'm curious what they're going to do against the Chargers this weekend. We're going to talk about that. Slick, what stood out to you over Week 18, kind of the aftermath of the regular season?
The firing of Cardinals coach. I was just looking at
Kingsbury.
Kingsbury.
Yeah. Kingsbury.
Drew's been calling for that for what?
Yeah,
it seemed like every week.
It's been a few weeks. I said I don't think this guy. I didn't think he was going to make it through the season, but I guess they weren't ready to make that switch.
And when I looked up his record, like, I knew his record was bad, but from 19 to 22, 28, 38, and 1.
Damn, I didn't even know that.
Exactly.
I just knew that he went 11-3 or 11 and whatever last year, and they just signed him to an extension. I didn't even realize.
Yeah, they just signed him to an extension.
28,
and now
38, 1. And you know what's crazy? All of us, not to cut you off, BP, all of us, well, me personally, I used to watch him. I like Texas Tech, the way they play football.
Right.
I could have swore that he had a winning record at Texas Tech. Texas Tech, he was 35-40. I did not know that.
He's had a record, like a track record of starting fast and like going downhill like the last half of the seasons. And this year, they didn't even start off strong. So then that just kind of like you saw a significant drop off. And now it seems their GM, they're not going to have him back as the GM. It's going to be a smaller role. And now news has come out where they're going to shop DeAndre Hopkins in the offseason. Kyler Murray is going to have say of who the coach is. And
Ricky,
and
I wanted to see what you felt about that too. Like, I don't know if you heard or not, but they said that Kyler Murray is going to have a say in the new head coach. Like, you could tell that relationship. That's how I knew Kingsbury was going to be gone, because that relationship was, I think, beyond repairable, and it was evident.
Do you think it started from the offseason? With the contract stuff?
It goes back to that stupid ass clause that they had in his contract, and that was like the beginning of the end for. It just seemed like it never got back on track for the Cardinals. But Rick, what do you think about like a quarterback? And this is NFL, dude. This is a business, man. Like, just as quick as Kingsbury is gone, Kyler Murray could be gone just as fast. Like, what do you think about a QB being involved and a quarterback who didn't play all that great this season, who had his own, he dealt with his own injury problems, and now he's going to miss significant time.
Didn't they want him? Didn't they want him to start spending more time in the film rooms?
Yeah,
that was that. And now they're giving him running to freaking.
Well, maybe they're trying to make up for what they did, and say, hey, we're trying to save face here. But Rick, what do you think about that, man? A QB being involved in the NFL head coaching search?
Me personally, I think that, to me, that tells me that the organization feels that that's their guy. And I could be wrong. They could switch up later on down the line. But just to revert back to basketball, usually when they allow a guy to have say-so about a coach, he's like the guy. Like a LeBron, he has say-so about his coach. Kobe had say-so about his, you get what I'm saying?
Right.
So I feel, even though they're two different sports, I feel in order for them to feel comfortable enough to him have say-so or input on who they're going to bring in as a head coach, I feel like they feel like that's their guy. Like, me personally,
I think that's what that means.
I wouldn't give him that.
That's
much
what
leeway.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
If it was a Brady,
you give that title to Kobe. You give that title to LeBron.
That's what. Like I
not
wouldn't give
Kyler
it
Murray. He's a good player, but he ain't.
I wouldn't give him that.
He's not great.
It's too. He hasn't done enough, and it's too early in his career. Now it'll be one thing if maybe like he's been in the league for 5 years now? 4,
5. Gosh, it has been. Yeah, I think it might be going on 5. It
5?
is going on 5. Yeah.
Like it would be one thing if like he won 3 Super Bowls and like 2 like divisional championship, like appearance, something crazy in that small window. Then okay, I get it. Like he's earned his due.
Yeah. Prophet. Yeah. Prophet, what do you got on this, man? Like about Cliff Kingsbury and what's going on in Arizona right now? It seems like they're at least kind of blowing up the front office and probably trading away one of their best offensive player. Like, what do you think about all this?
Well, I actually think that if they are going to do something like this with Murray, then what they may be thinking is, okay, we're going to find out next year whether you're the man here or not, because we're going to bring in a coach that you okayed, and if you don't start winning games for us, then you're going to be out there with Hopkins too.
I can see it that way as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it sounds like they just requested permission to interview Sean Payton, along with the Texans and the Broncos have requested that permission. There's going to have to be some sort of trade that goes on there from New Orleans. So keep an eye on DeAndre Hopkins, maybe potentially being a piece of compensation if he does go to Arizona. But yeah, they're not going to have Kyler Murray at the beginning part of the year because he tore his ACL so late. So that's going to be something to keep our eyes on there. Now, Prophet. Go ahead.
But that actually plays against the coach too, because the coach may not be that style. He may not want that style of quarterback, as his quarterback. So I guess if you don't want the athletic quarterback, you want more of a drop back quarterback, and you don't apply for that job.
Yeah,
I don't know. You just, you don't make that big of a change. I don't think when you have an athlete of his caliber. If you can't get it done with a guy like Kyler Murray, and I'm not saying he's great by any means, but he's
It
I
gives
don't
you a
think
chance to
he's
win.
not. You're not taking that job with the anticipation of replacing him.
Yeah, he give you a chance to win.
You don't know what Kyler Murray's going to be coming back off of this ACL. A lot of his game is his legs.
Well, we kind of talked about the beginning part of this year, and the offseason kind of was a microcosm of what was going to take place in Arizona this year. It was a rough offseason. It was a rough season, and now they're making wholesale type of changes. And I don't know, like it just seems like they don't have really good leadership in their front office. And I don't know if that's something that they're trying to find, but you can tell that there's something missing from there. Jeff made a great comment. There's a lot of stuff going on there. Prophet, what stood out to you in the aftermath of the regular season and week 18? What was something that stood out to you?
Let me get this out of the way real quick here, okay? The views and opinions of the Prophet are his alone and not necessarily indicative of the views and opinions of the Backyard Blitz. Okay, that being said, I want to touch on the Lovie Smith situation in Houston, and I mean, obviously, I wasn't behind closed doors to know exactly what went on all year, but getting rid of Lovie Smith after 1 year, when he was actually starting to build this team. Houston was competitive in all but 2 games this year.
Yeah.
And down the stretch, I mean, they almost beat Kansas City. They almost beat Dallas.
Almost beat a lot of teams.
Almost, yeah. I mean, they were competitive, and they win the last game of the year with the number 1 pick on the line. Now, did that get him fired?
That could have got him fired. That's what I'm thinking might have gotten him fired, honestly.
Okay, but let's think about that. I mean, Chicago's got the number 1 pick, and if Chicago's high on Justin Fields, then unless they trade that pick,
it's yours.
Gets the quarterback. They
a little bit cheaper too, by the way. Just a little bit cheaper.
They're trading that pick 100% to somebody who's going to take
I think so too.
Stroud or
Williams. So you got Stroud or Williams, available to you. But I mean, defensively, Lovie Smith has been an absolute great defensive-minded coach. He looking at last year's draft, he wasn't too bad in the draft room either. I mean, he's got the knowledge,
He's been to the Super Bowl before, Lovie Smith.
With the Bears.
The Bears.
He went to the Bears with the Bears. With Rex Grossman as a quarterback.
Yeah. I was going to say, yeah.
But
he had a nice defense that year too.
Yeah, well, and that's what he was building there. I mean, he's got 5 of his 6 draft picks this past season in the top 3 rounds were out of the SEC. So he knows where to go to get the talent. And he did get some talent. He got Stingley. He got Kenyon Green. He got Petrie. He's got Mechie. I mean, they're a quarterback and another wide receiver away from winning that division next year.
Yeah.
And Lovie Smith isn't going to be a part of it. And I just think it's wrong.
I thought it was wrong, too. I thought for sure... Now, they've gone through 2 coaches in 2 years now, right? I'm trying to think of who the other guy was last year.
Boy, I don't know. O'Brien
I can't think
was
of it
before the guy from last year. Brian was a couple years.
I can't think of his name, but he was. I thought he actually was doing a pretty decent job. He had to deal with a lot of the Deshaun Watson stuff. They had a bunch of guys on 1-year contracts. They had that this year too, and they started to build a little bit of a foundation, and they were competitive. They're just missing some pieces. It's you can't just turn around a team in 1 year. It takes some time.
Davis Mills, come on.
I'm going to play a little advocate here, devil's advocate, like I always do. And it's not just to start an argument, but it's my personal feeling. I don't have a problem with the firing. I'm not a Lovie Smith guy. Never really have been. I think other than a good year or 2 in Chicago, what has he done? He had a like I said, very par career in Chicago. Goes to the University of Illinois and is absolutely terrible for 5 years in college.
Took him to their first bowl game.
He was terrible. He finished like 15. Like, okay,
you don't like Lovie Smith.
What bowl game did he go to? The Rostock Mayo Bowl or something? Like, it's the same teams that we're like. Anybody can go to a bowl game anymore.
Is it the Rostock Mayo Bowl?
Like Santa Claus.
They played the St. Mary's sister school. Like
you don't like Santa Claus. If you don't like Lovie Smith, you don't like Santa Claus.
I'm not a Lovie Smith guy, and I'm okay with the firing because I don't think he brings a whole lot to the table. He's a good defensive mind. Keep him as a defensive coordinator somewhere, but he's not getting it done as a head coach, and he hasn't been getting it done.
Give him more than a year. Give him more than a year. They were competitive.
Or don't hire him at all.
I agreed. I said that he was a great defensive mind.
Okay, well then don't hire him last year.
David Culley was the one before. Thanks, Larry. I appreciate it.
I agree with both of you guys. I agree with OG. Like I feel like they pulled the plug a little too early as well because, like you said, you could see that the team was getting better and better each week, even though they still weren't getting W's. They were still getting better. They were competing against some of the better teams. But then at the same time, what Drew said, I said the same thing this weekend when I found out that he got fired. I was like, because me and my brother were talking, I was like, bro, if you're thinking about it, like, other than going to the Super Bowl when he was the head coach with the Bears, like, what has he really done? I was like, he went to Illinois and they were terrible.
Awful.
And now he's with the Texans.
Ricky, they went to their first bowl game, son. I don't want to hear that, okay? The friggin' Duke's mayo
Wow.
wrapped in Cheez-It bowl.
But
Like,
when I talk to you about 40 freaking bowls being way too many, you say, "Hey, it's great. They're playing football."
yeah, they're playing football. It doesn't mean that there are any quality games.
Oh my God.
So
How many
like,
5 and 7 teams got in bowl games last year? They didn't fill them all.
I
Besides the
agree.
point.
I agree with both of you guys.
I like when me and Ricky agree because I don't think it happens very
Yeah, it
often.
doesn't happen very often, exactly.
Because you like playing devil's advocate.
I told you, not just to do it, it's because I feel that way. And I feel that, like, dude, go be a defensive coach somewhere. He should have never got hired in the first place.
I do think he'll be
And
a
I
better
do
situation.
think that this game Sunday did him in.
Yeah, it
don't,
could've.
like it. I don't care what you can go out there and say whatever you want at the podium and say we play to win the game and we're going to play our butts up. That ownership doesn't want to hear that.
Yeah,
They are 3-7,
kudos
3
to
and
him
22.
for being classy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the Houston Texans.
Classy got him on his assy. Okay, so he's looking for a job.
Well, hey,
Moving
speaking
on.
of,
BP, do you have bear at your house?
do I have a bear? What?
Do you have bear at your house?
A bear?
Yeah, like bear in general. Like out in Idaho. I'm just
We have
curious.
bears out here. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And they do that in the woods. If that's where you're going with it. Yeah.
No, because we had a couple outside the house today.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, well, we get them all the time, but today we had a couple outside the house. One of them didn't have any teeth. He was a gummy bear.
God. Moving on. I love that. Moving on.
I knew he was going to give me something. I was waiting for it.
I knew.
I
was
thought he was
waiting
going
for
to tell me
in the
Yogi was
woods.
outside.
Yeah, Yogi. So we saw Sunday night. We saw Aaron Rodgers get beat by the Detroit Lions. Aaron Rodgers was throwing some picks that Aaron Rodgers doesn't throw, and when he's walking off the field, it was him and Randall Cobb kind of like side hugging each other, and I saw him just kind of start looking around, and I go, "Oh, I don't know if he's going to be coming back." And then what kind of caught my ear was his post-game press conference, and so I want to play this for you guys, and we'll chat about it because I think there's some big questions regarding Aaron Rodgers' future in Green Bay.
Walk with your arms around each other off the field.
I just love the man. I've always had a tight friendship with him, and just a lot of gratitude.
Looks like he
In the
just got
midst
done
of,
playing some gig at some
Disappointment.
bar in Seattle.
The best part about this game is the
Looks like the third member of the Lumineers.
relationships that come out of it, because those last longer than the career. And I'm thankful for Randall.
Are you touring with Mumford and Sons next week,
Aaron,
Aaron?
on what you want to do next year.
I mean, it's a little raw right now. It's just a little bit after the game.
That's what she said.
Want to take the emotion out of it and have the conversations and see where the organization's at and see how I feel after some time has passed.
Is there any sort of timetable with that? Is there like a date where you want to make your decision by? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to hold them hostage. I
Like you
understand.
did last year?
Yeah.
We're still in January.
Like he's
here.
doing right now.
March is free agency, so
Maybe they
just
don't
need
want
some
him
time
back.
to.
Just wanted to throw his guitar
like I
pick.
said, get the emotion out of it and then
Jordan Love.
figure out what's best.
All right.
He looks like a
Guys.
long-lost member of Third Eye Blind.
Oh my God. I'm waiting for Kryptonite to come on in the background.
Anyway,
Does he sound like he is coming back? I know last year there was a lot of talk about they were the number 1 seed. They got beat by San Francisco at home, but this is different. This was week 18 to the Detroit Lions at home. For all they had to do was win, and they're in the playoffs. And just the way that he was it just didn't seem. It seemed like this year was more of a frustration for Aaron. I don't know. If you were, let's just phrase a question like this. Do you think that Aaron Rodgers is going to be a Green Bay Packer next year?
I don't think so.
no.
I don't think so. I think, like you just said, to me it seemed like it was a year of frustration. And when he finally started connecting with Watson and the success that Watson started having, I think it kind of flipped a little switch to where he was like, "Oh, we have a possible. It's a possibility we might make the playoffs this year, and kind of see what we can do with it." But when that happened, I think it put him back into reality. Like, yeah, okay, this is what I figured it would be anyway. So I don't think he's coming back.
I don't think he's coming back either. And I will preface it with this: I was dead to the world all weekend, man. I was very under the weather, and I was excited to watch this game when I knew that it could possibly be a play-in game.
Yeah.
And then I checked the score because I was in and out of sleep. I checked the score of the Seahawks game or whatever, and they had won. So I saw that the Lions were mathematically eliminated. So it took a little bit out of the game for me. So I didn't watch a whole lot of it. But I think this is mutual. I don't think Aaron wants to go back. I don't think the Packers want Aaron back. I also think that there's a lot of people who don't want to go back to the Packers. And you guys, I'm sure, have seen the interview with Alan or Lazard, who straight up came out and said, I'm not coming back. I'm not going to be back on his team. You got a head coach who I feel like there's a rift between Rodgers and the head coach.
You could tell on the sideline, like Aaron wanted to go for it. Yeah. And he was like, but I want to punt. Like you could read his lips. Like there was an argument that was going on.
There's a disconnect there. Some of this team is out of control. Like the whole Quay Watkins thing or whatever.
Quay Walker. Oh my God.
Walker. Yeah. The guy who was ejected for pushing the Detroit Lions athletic trainer in the back on the field. All weeks, you're going to push an athletic trainer who's trying to get out onto the field to tend to an injured player. What do you do? I just think that this guy has lost all control of the team. And there's some guys who are going to not want to be there are going to be, gone willingly. And there's guys who are going to, be gone not so willingly. And I think Rodgers falls in that category somewhere, but I do not see him playing for the Packers again. Personally, I don't see him playing football anymore.
You think about retire?
He kind of has that look a little bit. Prophet, what do you think?
The proof is in the pudding. Jared Goff tried to exchange jerseys with him after the game, and Rodgers declined.
He says, I'm keeping this one.
Yeah. So why? Was it his last one that he's ever played in Green Bay in, or is it his last game period? I think he could retire also. I think he should retire.
He's not young. I mean...
He's 39.
Yeah, in NFL terms, he's not young at all.
Yeah.
I think it depends on the opportunity. I think if like a team
Vegas reunite with Devontae Adams, they need a quarterback.
Yeah, I feel like if
he could have a residency at the MGM Grand playing his music.
I feel like if the right team comes along and gives him like an opportunity to be a competitor or like compete as far as like playoff run, I think he might hop on it, even if it's like a 1-year deal type deal. But I feel like if like it's nothing really out there, nobody's really fishing, I think he might just hang it up.
No, and you, Ricky, the word you just said, it hit the nail on the head. Is who's going to go fishing, because he didn't do anything this year to prove that he's worthy to play for to take somebody on a title run next year. Somebody I was watching somebody. Aaron Rodgers used to elevate the play of those around him. He doesn't do that anymore.
No,
he doesn't. He didn't do that this season. He doesn't. Great quarterbacks. Tom Brady. You can take a subpar roster. Not a subpar roster, but some guys who aren't as good as you, and lift them up and make them better. And Rodgers or Brady, for that matter, have done that this year.
I agree with you on that, but I also will say the rosters that Rodgers have had, they might not have been big name guys or like crazy talent, but they've been vets. He's had more vets.
Donald Driver.
Yeah, he's had more vets,
Adams,
and maybe they will sprinkle in like a rookie. This receiver core he had this year was young.
Yeah,
with 13. What is it? Lazard.
Yeah, Lazard.
He's like considered the vet.
Yeah, and he was.
And Mercedes Lewis, like he had to depend on him at times at tight end.
And he had a lobby to get Cobb traded. Remember to go there, and then Cobb was hurt most of the year. So
those are like those. So I don't disagree with you, but at the same time, if someone gave him an opportunity and put him around, not crazy talent, but just enough talent that's seasoned as far as understanding how to be a professional in the NFL level, understanding if I say be to that spot, you need to be to that spot, X, Y, and Z. I'm not saying he'll win the Super Bowl, but I think he'll have a better season than he had this year.
It's probably time for a change in scenery for both, right? For Green Bay, get a different guy, see what Love has. They got him in the draft 3 years ago now, and he's been sitting, developing behind Rodgers. You know, they need to see what he can do, and I think they can get some capital for Rodgers if he still wants to play. That's the key. Because I'm with you, Drew. I would not be surprised if he came out after February and says I'm done.
I think
I can see it going that way. I can see 50-50.
He's too much of an egomaniac that he's not going to go somewhere that he doesn't think that he's got a shot at winning the Super Bowl.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's what I feel like it depends on who fishes for him.
Right.
So we got all of the Week 18 stuff, right? Cliff Kingsbury gone, Lovie Smith was gone, Tua is out this week. So he's been ruled out. Lamar Jackson is very up in the air for the playoffs. But now we get to start kind of turning towards these big time games now, these matchups, and you know what we call the
Playoffs.
Playoffs.
You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
My wife just made a funny statement. She said we should take a shot every time we say playoffs.
Oh my God.
Everybody would be drunk.
Yeah, everybody would be drunk by the middle of the show.
Before we talk about the playoffs, we got to congratulate our backyard Blitz Pick'em leaderboard. Congratulations, Griffin.
Inaugural winner.
Capped it off 176 to 95. Amazing job. It was a tight race. The last 5 weeks it was still tight within just a couple games. So congratulations, Mom, you won the $100 gift card. It's on the way to already. Send us a picture when you get it. We'd love to put it on the show. Just take a look here, and thank you, by the way, if you didn't win. Thank you so much for playing. We're going to do this again next year. Heeman 55, you were so close all year. Tap the Rockies, Ice Cubey, Greg, King Mirage, El Jefe, Josh, Golf Lady. It's Rachel in the comments there, and then my father got up to the number 10, and I called him and I gave him crap today because I was like, if it wasn't for this last week, you wouldn't have even made the top 10. So you're lucky your name's even up there, bud.
Funny.
But
I'm hoping that we, we can get some more sponsors next year and maybe up the ante a little bit. I think that would be good.
Absolutely.
Always thinking of ways to help out the Blitz Nation. So make it fun for everybody.
Way to go, Mrs. Peebs.
Absolutely. Let's turn our attention to the playoffs. I'm so excited, guys. Yeah, there's shots. So we're going to spend some time. We're going to talk a little bit more about these matchups than we kind of do during the regular season, because you know what? These games mean something now. Like, it's one and done. It's not a 7-game series. It's not a 5-game series. You win and you keep going, and you lose and you're done. And the first matchup that we are gifted with this weekend is the Seattle Seahawks, who were able to get in because of their win against the Rams in overtime, by the way. And the Lions beating Green Bay. They get the San Francisco 49ers, the 2 seed, the Seahawks coming in as a 7th seed here in the playoffs. Let me get the numbers up on this here. So this is Saturday, 4:30 Eastern, 2:30. The 49ers are a 10-point favorite in this game. There's going to be a little bit of rain. Drew, let's talk a little bit about this matchup. What do you like about it? Like, what do you see in this? This is, division rivals. San Francisco is beating this team twice. They've swept the NFC West this year. Not a lot of people are giving the Seahawks any chance. What do you think about this game?
So, hold on, I got sound in my ear again from the stupid. These guys just played not that long ago. Am I correct?
Yeah, and week 15, I believe.
Yeah, and the Niners, they lumped up on them pretty good. We talked earlier about the playoffs being who's hot at the right time and stuff like that. I don't think, and how hard this was for me all year.
Yeah,
I don't know if there's a hotter team in football than the San Francisco 49ers. That includes those Eagles of Philadelphia. Because the Eagles of Philadelphia are a whole, and we're not going to talk much about them this week because they're on a bye, but they are on a much needed bye because they limped into this bye. Not only banged up, but haven't been playing great football the last 3 weeks. There might not be another team hotter right now than the Niners, and there isn't. And on the other hand, you got the Seahawks who are coming in. They're 2-3 in their last 5. They squeak out a win in overtime against, with everything on the line. They squeak out a win against the Rams. You got a team who kind of started off pretty well. And,
6-3, I think they started.
Yeah, we're surprising a lot of people, and then kind of flatlined a little bit. And I guess that's common, the ebbs and flows of an NFL season. But Geno Smith, you talk about having a comeback year, remarkable year, whatever it might be. I just don't see the Seahawks having enough firepower to keep up with the Niners. I don't see them playing, good enough defense to be able to stop the Niners offensively. Like I said, I got the Niners in this one. I know the line is 10. It's high for playoffs, but this one might be a game that the Niners could actually cover. And I don't think it's going to be too close.
What do you think about it, Slick? Because I'm looking through the stats of the Seahawks right now. A couple of them catch my eye a little bit. First of all, Geno Smith had a really good season. Yeah. Almost 70% completion percentage, almost 4,300 yards, 30 touchdowns, only to 11 picks. They had 2,000-yard receivers, and they have a 1,000-yard runner in Kenneth Walker. Seems offensively they could get some things going, but really defensively they're 26th in the league, and especially their run defense is not particularly good. What do you see out of this game, Slick? What do you have your eye on?
I was going to say the same thing about Geno, like talk about what type of season he had, especially for it being his comeback year. But I just, like you said, I don't think they have enough defensively for the 49ers. And if I'm not mistaken, I saw a few days ago where it said Debo was playing or would be back
Debo's
to play.
Back. Yeah, Debo played week 18. Elijah Mitchell's come back. They're getting Dre Greenlaw back. They're getting Kevin Givens back. So they're getting healthy right now.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't think they have enough firepower, especially on defense for the 49ers, especially with those guys getting back. Yeah, those guys that were injured.
Jordan Brooks is on IR. I think they got a couple other guys that even from that Week 15 matchup, the Seahawks. So they're really banged up right now.
Yeah.
So Drew, you picked the Niners, right? It sounded like, and Slick, you also have the Niners in this game.
Yes, sir.
Prophet, what do you keeping an eye on in this game, and who do you got?
Well, I think San Fran drew lucky this week, getting the Seahawks, and I say that simply because one of my big angles that I look at in the playoffs is first-time quarterbacks, and the past 3 years, and you can go back 20 years, and the numbers, Carr, Murray, Hurts, Heineken, Trubisky, Allen, McCown, Jackson, and Mayfield. Mayfield was the only one that won a playoff game in his first game in the playoffs. So that would have won against Purdy. The only thing is, Geno Smith ain't never been in the playoffs either. So it's good. Yeah, they drew lucky. They didn't get Green Bay, say.
I was a little bit nervous about Green Bay, the way that they were coming in, but San Francisco's been playing so good, won 10 in a row. And I will say this about Purdy is it feels like, and I'll say this about a lot of the fan base, because there's always 49er Twitter can be a very toxic place, guys. I'm just telling you. But everybody's been kind of waiting for that shoe to drop for Purdy, and it hasn't. He's kind of overcome a lot of these stats of Mr. Irrelevant's never thrown a touchdown pass before. Well, he's done that. There hasn't been a lot of rookies to win 5 in a row, and so he's kind of done that. And so it's almost kind of closed that argument, at least in the regular season. But you're right, that's a thought that I have as far as playoff experience go, and you got the stats right there. Playoffs. Right.
And with that being said, though, I see San Fran running away with this game. I'm going to give everybody a play And this game, I like San Fran's defense, special teams to score a touchdown.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, which is a nice 5-1 pick, or if it comes through. I
Well,
see
prop bet.
I see San Fran rolling on this game, probably
Okay.
41-10.
Ooh, I'll tell you what. If it's 41-10, I'll be really excited. I've got San Francisco in this game as well. I will tell you, I have some nerves about it because it's the Seattle Seahawks. They're just a thorn in my side that will not go away for like the last 10 years. Like they just kind of are there all the time, and it bothers me. And they played 49ers pretty well. This year, the 49ers have gotten the best of them. But I'm interested to see what that looks like. It's at home. There is going to be some rain, but I think with the addition of Elijah Mitchell, I think with that defense and what they're able to do, something to keep your eye on in that Thursday night football matchup. Tre'Davious Ward, Mooney Ward, and DK Metcalf were getting into it big time.
Yeah.
Like they're almost like through some fists. So that's going to be a heated matchup. That keep your eye on. That's going to be good. I'm excited about it, but we all got the Niners on this one. Let's move on to the Chargers and the Jaguars. Jaguars hosting not their first ever playoff game because they did back in the day with Mark Brunell, but the Chargers are kind of limping into this game a little bit. They're kind of banged up. This is Brandon Staley's first playoff game, if I'm not mistaken, the head coach of the Chargers, going against Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence. And there's a lot of firsts in this first week of the playoffs, guys that have not been there. Patrick Mahomes is the oldest quarterback at 27 in the playoffs this year, which is a crazy stat. Drew, what do you like about this game? Because the spread says Chargers -1. It's almost a pickup game. This is Saturday night, 8:15 Eastern time. Hopefully you're awake to watch this one.
Let's see, Saturday at 8:15. I should
Okay.
be awake, I
We'll
think.
get the
I think I'm
first
awake.
half.
I think I'm awake this week. I don't think I have anything going on Saturday night.
That's good.
The thing I like about this game is this entire game. I think this is going to be a great game. We got two exciting teams to watch here. The Chargers, who I was very high on to start the year, and have kind of leveled my head on them recently over the past year, over the past season. And then the Jaguars, who, you guys know I'm high on right now, and they're riding a wave of 5 in a row, 6 out of their last 7. You mentioned it. Dougie B has been here before. He won a Super Bowl with the Eagles. Yeah. He's gonna have his guys ready for the moment. We got Trevor Lawrence. We got a bunch of guys who are doing this for the first time. But it's good to have a coach who's been there before, who can prepare them for the moment. Dude, it's going to be rocking down in Jacksonville. They don't get a whole lot of opportunities to play meaningful football games in that stadium like they have done this year. And Saturday night, primetime action, all eyes on you. I think they're going to be ready to go. And, I might surprise a few people here, but I'm taking the Jaguars in this one.
Oh,
I got the Jaguars.
I
got the Jaguars. I got the
Duval.
Jaguars in this one. It's going to be a close one. I got them winning a tight one, and then we'll see what happens and where the cards fall. But like you said, the Chargers have kind of been limping around the past couple weeks. I know they won 3 games. I think their last 3 out of 4, but they haven't all been pretty, and they're not fully healthy. And Herbert just hasn't been himself all year, and the Herbert that we've come to know and expect.
He's had his weapons in and out. Keenan Allen was hurt a big portion of the year. Mike Williams has been in and out of the lineup. I will say that team is completely different without Mike Williams in there. He's such a playmaker for them. Obviously, Austin Eckler. Slick, are you along the same side as Drew? I just have that feeling. The way you lit up when he said Jags makes me feel like that's the way you're leaning, bro.
No, I didn't. I definitely like what the Jags have been doing up until now.
Not so fast, my friend.
Not so fast.
But I went with the Chargers. Like,
Herbert's your dude. I forgot about that.
Herbert's my dude. I said at the beginning of the season, like, that was going to be who I kind of made my team. And I don't know. I think they find a way to get it done. I think to go to the point that Drew made. Now, the coach for the Jags, yes, he has experience. But at the end of the day, he doesn't play. He can't play the game. So the fact that it's a lot of first time situations on the field, I think the Chargers might find a way to get it done.
Okay, so we got one Jags, one Chargers. Profit. What you got? What do you like in this game? First of all, let us know what you like about it and who you got.
Obviously, right now, I'm going to break the tie, the early tie. You know, the Jags have been winning, but they haven't been winning pretty. Trevor Lawrence has, there was so much talk about his passer rating over the last 8 weeks. Let's go to the last 3 weeks. Trevor Lawrence has done absolutely nothing the last 3 weeks against the Jets, the Titans, and Houston. I think they played. He's done nothing. Trevor Lawrence falls into that first-time quarterback. The Chargers were there last year. They lost.
On record, Larry.
Herbert got the loss last year. They've got more experience. I see the Chargers running away with this one.
Running away
with it.
What are you wearing the hat a little too tight there, Prophet?
Running away.
Is that black hat restricting the blood flow to your brain, or are you eating too much of Tony's meatballs? Because running away, the only thing man, we're gonna see Saturday night, man. We're gonna see Saturday night who the real Prophet is.
Okay, we will find out. Okay, and
I think, by the way, I don't know if you guys saw this. Larry just threw out a challenge to us. He said he wants to cash app us $20 to whoever has the best overall record throughout the playoffs between us four. When Prophet's definitely involved in this, Larry. So it's between us four. The Prophet's in there. We'll promote the hell out of that, Larry. Trust me. So Prophet, you got the Chargers running away
Larry.
with this. Yeah.
I'm gonna change my pick to the Chargers.
Thank you for
$20 on the line. I'm betting with
$20.
with my head, not my heart anymore.
Thank you for the 20, Larry.
Oh, hey, did you forget who won? By the way, I could bring up the graphic. I didn't show that to anybody,
I got one in my back pocket too.
BP, who you got in this one?
My prop bet is Justin Herbert over 1.5 touchdowns.
Okay.
Oh, I'll take that.
Hey, Ricky, when you just sneeze, man, it sounded like a little dog barked. I'm not gonna lie.
I tried to hold it in to make it quiet, and it ended up squeezing.
It sounded like a little
out.
That was good. So I know that there's a lot of momentum with the Jaguars. They're kind of the feel-good story right now, but quite honestly, the Chargers should have been in the playoffs last year. They just missed it last year. The only apprehension I have about the Chargers is Brandon Staley making a 4th down call in that game that's going to be costly. But you're right, Prophet. I haven't seen Trevor Lawrence do anything that's really caught my eye. The defense won that game last week. Now, my eyes are kind of turned towards those injuries with the Chargers. I don't know how healthy Joey Bosa is. He came out of that game last week. Mike Williams had to be helped in the locker room. He's been practicing. We're expecting to see him. I do think the Chargers have a lot of firepower. And Justin Herbert, man, this is his first playoff game. I can't wait to watch him sling it at playoffs. Can't wait to watch him sling it in there. So I'm going to go with the Chargers in this game. I got the Chargers.
All right, I'll be the only one to win. Thank you to my lovely assistant for bringing me a soda.
Oh, nice. There we go. All right, let's move on to the Miami Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills. This is Sunday. First game on Sunday at 1 o'clock Eastern, 11 Mountain Time. Now, Tua has been ruled out of this game. That was announced today. Obviously, we got the Buffalo Bills. They're riding a lot of momentum. They're almost seem like a team of destiny with everything that happened with Damar Hamlin, with those kickoff returns last week. This is a division rival. Miami beat them earlier this season. Buffalo hasn't really kind of shown me 4 quarters of football in a while. And they did the first playoff game last year. They played like a perfect game against the New England Patriots. So that's what I'm looking out for in this game. But Drew, what do you got, man? We got the Miami Dolphins. We got the Buffalo Bills.
You give me agita, BP. You give me friggin' heartburn sometimes. And, you say you haven't seen the Bills give you 4 quarters of football in a long time. Well, they're not going to give you 4 quarters of football this weekend either, because this game's going to be over by halftime.
Could be.
Buffalo is I mean, you got Tua is
11
not
points
playing.
favorites.
Tua is not playing. You talk about momentum. Mike McDaniel, his balloon has deflated. I think there was a lot of big fans, and I was one of them. I still think he's a pretty cool guy, but as far as from a coaching standpoint and success standpoint, he's going to have to figure out he's going to have to figure out what to do in the future. Obviously, without Tua, because that's a whole nother story. But I think he could be on borrowed time for the rest of his career. It's just not happening in this game. I got Buffalo in the elements in a big win, and we'll get our way get our sights set on the AFC Championship game because that's where they're headed.
Ooh, man, just skipping past the divisional game, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Rachel thinks it's going to be like the TCU Georgia game, and I don't know if there's
Rachel. I don't think you're wrong.
She could
I
be
think
right.
this might be like the TCU Georgia game. And can I point out, BP?
Yes.
I do want to point out. They call me Prophet Junior, but I'm like, if it's physically possible, or I'm gonna take over for Prophet Senior, because after the first touchdown of the TCU Georgia game, and I have it on record, I texted out. I texted out. This game is going to end up 65-14. Georgia's going to win this game.
What was the score?
He texted right here,
65-7.
So you missed it.
I missed it. I missed it. I said 65-14, and the game comes out 65-7. Are you kidding me? That is spot on. If I've ever seen spot on, man, what an ass kicking that was. Anyway, that's going to be the game for the Bills and the Dolphins. It might be 52-3 by halftime.
What do you got, Slick, in this one?
I got the Bills. I don't think it'll be Georgia TCU, but I do think the Bills win by 21.
Can we just agree that Alabama should have been in the playoffs, by the way?
No, we don't disagree. I was trying to tell people that I would take
I'm sorry, BP. I didn't mean to get this.
No, you're good. No, you're good.
I was trying to tell people that I would take a 2-loss Bama team over anybody any day. And also, I understand I'm off topic. Also, it kind of irritated me when TCU lost to K-State in the Big 12 Conference Championship, and they still put them in the playoffs.
Oh, man. Yep.
Like when I saw that happen,
Crazy.
I was texting at all my friends, everybody. Oh, Bama's getting back in there. And then when when I was like, what? So they lost to Kansas State, and they're putting them back in the playoffs?
Yeah, it was crazy, but whatever.
I don't think that happens.
It wasn't the best 4 teams, that's for sure. But
I don't think that happens
digress.
anymore.
I'm sorry for getting us off track.
Oh, you're good.
Backyard Blitz Nation.
Speaking of Bama, though, we got Tua, who's out, right? Teddy Bridgewater is going to be the quarterback for Miami.
Oh, he's back with the finger?
It seems like it, yeah. It's still up in the air, but I expect
his
Bridgewater
fingers up in the air?
Yeah, his fingers up in the air. I'm not going to show it. Who do you got in this one? You got the Bills? Slick?
Yeah, I got the Bills.
Prophet, what about you, man? What do you like about this game, and who do you got?
Excuse me.
Well, I think the winner is a no-brainer. The only thing that's going to come into play here is will they cover the spread or not. And,
11.
It's a big number. Last week, the Bills struggled. The Bills struggled to cover against Buffalo. I mean, against New England. And, they ran the opening kickoff back, man, and you thought, okay, this is a 56-0 game here. And then they fell back to being the Bills. Fortunately for them.
Thank you.
Oh, God.
Thank you.
Fortunately for them, Teddy Bridgewater is going to be the quarterback, or Skylar Thompson.
It's no secret who signs the Prophet's paycheck.
I'm telling you guys, and Prophet, you're with me on this, because the Bills, I have high hopes for Allen, and I want to see him get into that Mahomes-like air where they can just score at any time. And there's a lot of time. He threw a pick in that game against New England in the red zone. I think, what has he thrown? 19 interceptions this year? It's a lot. So he has the tendency to turn over the ball, and we know in playoffs, turning over the ball is a big deal. But you're right. I think Tua not being in this game, if Tua was in this game, I would say, man, this is going to be a really good football game because I can see it going either way. But without him in there, I don't know that they can have the firepower to keep up with, because I think Buffalo will score 28 to 35 points easily. I don't think Miami is going to be able to do it.
See, we are thinking alike because my my prop play, I see Slinger shaking his head. He took his headphones off even. My prop play is Buffalo's total over 27.5 in this game. But I got Buffalo to win it. I just don't know whether they're going to cover or not.
Now, Drew, you said there's elements in this one. Did you see that there's a lot of snow or something in this game? I haven't looked at the weather there for Buffalo.
There's a lot of elements, yeah.
God.
Thanks for the input.
There we go.
Yeah.
Hey, that sounds like every weatherman.
Definitely elemental.
Yeah.
Atmosphere.
Mostly light with increasing darkness, right?
Yeah, until the morning.
Could go one way or the other, boys. Brace for something that might happen.
I got the Bills. You guys covered everything. I think they have too much firepower for what the Miami Dolphins are going to be able to do with their quarterback situation. That said, Tyreek Hill has been a thorn in the Bills' side, so I'm going to be keeping an eye on who is guarding Tyreek Hill in this. But I got Buffalo in this game. They got bigger fish to fry, and that's going to be Cincinnati or Kansas City. That's who on their radar.
Cincinnati.
All right, this game, the New York Giants and the Minnesota Vikings. Okay, now I've heard a lot of people talk about this is upset alert for the Minnesota Vikings. People have called them frauds. They tried to call me once. It said fraud alert. It was the Minnesota Vikings. It's in Minnesota. We know it's going to be loud. There's no elements there because it's in a dome. But we got the Giants that are in the playoffs. That if they just made the playoffs this year, that was going to be a win for Brian Daboll there. They have some playmakers and Saquon Barkley, who hasn't really done a lot in the last couple weeks, and Daniel Jones, first career playoff game for him. And then Kirk Cousins going into his playoff woes as well. So what do we like? This one is kind of all over the place too, because I can make an argument for the Giants, but you look at that 13-4 record for the Vikings. Vikings are only 3-point favorites at home. Vegas seems like they know something. I think this is going to be a close game. What do you think, Andrew? Or Drew? Sorry.
That was weird.
You called him by his government.
I did. I looked it right at it, and
yeah, you made eye contact with me when you said it too. You're eating a banana. Anyway. Listen, I am so tired of riding this Kirk Cousins train. Okay, of people riding this train. I can't do it anymore. I cannot do it anymore. This guy is not a winner. Okay? And the Vikings are out here on national television against a hungry Giants team who has the Coach of the Year candidate, Brian Daboll.
Maybe they ought to go to Texas Roadhouse.
I am talking, Prophet. Okay? I didn't cut you off.
Yes, you
did.
Think. Yes, you did.
I'm talking, damn it. I got the Giants in this one in an upset alert.
Ooh.
I'm just going crazy this week with the upset picks here. I got the Jaguars first, Giants now. The Giants are playing better football.
Hope you don't put any money up.
Rick, you know what? You guys run the show. I'm not even gonna have an opinion anymore. All right? I got the Giants. I'm sick and tired of the friggin' Homer Viking fans.
You won't be sending money to Drew, to the Slinger, Larry.
Hey, I'll tell you what though, I'm not too far off from picking the Giants in this one, because when you have a team like this that is gotten into the playoffs, and I understand that the Vikings have, they got playmakers too, but they have not been playing good football. Like, this is not a juggernaut team that you normally see in like maybe the second or the third seed playing at home, in that, 13 win type of, they played in a lot of close games. A lot. I think it was 11 close games, Drew. 11 that they've won in like one score games or whatever.
I'm writing a letter to the producer. Dear Mr. Producer, The Prophet is no longer allowed on the show full time. If he is, tender my resignation now. Signed, Drew, aka Ratings.
Signed Prophet
Ratings.
Jr.
All right, there it is. Signed right there in the Etch-a-Sketch. Get off the show, Prophet, or shut your yap when I'm talking.
That's awesome. Okay, so Drew's got the Giants. Slick, do you think that the Giants pull this one off, or are you sticking with Kirko Chains over there? And
I'm going with the Vikings. I don't disagree with nothing that you guys have said about the Giants, but and I've said it, I think the Vikings is one of those teams that's going to win first round and then they'll get blowed out next round. I think they're good enough to get past the Giants, and next round I think they'll get blown away, despite their record and everything else. Like you said, they played in a lot of close games, but it isn't college football. So, like, they still got the W's, but at the same time, in NFL playoff football, you got to bring something more to the table than that.
Yeah, and I mean, really, Justin Jefferson, he's been on fire. He's been unbelievable this year. But
Game,
don't forget, guys, this is a Vikings team that had that was down 33-0 against the Colts. The Colts. They came back and won that game, but
they came back and won because it's the freaking Colts, but they were in the position in the first place.
That's what I mean. That's exactly my point.
I feel like they slept on the Colts, though. Like, it's playoffs. I don't think they're going to come to a playoff game with the mindset as, oh, they're just the Giants. Like, we can just whatever the case may be. I mean, let's be real. We've all played at a high level. Yes, we're competitive. Yes, we whatever. But it has been a point, at least one point in our career, one time, where we have somewhat slept on either an opponent or somebody that lined up against us until they showed us, like, I can compete. And then we lock in and we're like, okay, it's time to show you, like, who I am.
Right, but and then hopefully there hasn't been some other things that happened that, like, in the fourth quarter, that you're like, okay, no, I've been part of some of those too. Not to steal your trademark, not for nothing, Drew, but how many times have we seen the New York Giants squeak into the playoffs and make a run and go to the Super Bowl? Right, we've seen that twice.
I could think of at least one.
Yeah, it's happened twice, right? So. This Giants team, I mean, none of those players are on the team, but the organization has a history of doing that. So, Prophet, with that being said, what do you like about this game and who you got?
Well, Slick, first.
Let me tell you about who I like in this game right here.
He hit him with
He did.
That was The Rock. It reminded me of The Rock.
Yeah.
Listen here, Jabroni. It doesn't matter what you're.
Hey, Slick, tell me real quick. If you arrest a mime, do you have to tell him he has the right to remain silent?
Let me put this guy on the friggin' air.
Oh, my God.
Oh, geez.
Like freaking looking like the Blair Witch Project. Or
Let's see if you agree with this, Slick. The Giants suck. The Giants do not belong in the playoffs. They got there. They're there, okay? They're going to fly out to Minnesota on Sunday. They're going to fly home with their tails between their legs. Minnesota wins this game going away. Take Justin Jefferson for the first TD score, plus 7-1.
I mean.
Oh, good. He's done.
Yeah, there we go. I'll tell you what, with that hat you got going on there, with the prophecy you just had, you're churning some butter over there, Prophet. You're over there in Amish territory. It looks like.
Where's his pigtails would look good.
His pigtails would look good there. Pigtails on, yeah, absolutely. Call him Rabbi.
Jeb. Jebediah.
I got the Vikings in this. I thought long and hard about the Giants. They have some playmakers, and it would not shock me if they won this game because of how the Vikings have played all season long, kind of all over the place. I just think it's going to be loud. I think the Vikings have Dalvin Cook. They have Justin Jefferson. I think they'll make just enough plays. But Slick, I think you're right. I think next week is where you kind of look at where Minnesota might run into a buzzsaw, whether it's against Philadelphia. Well, it would actually probably be against San Francisco if they did advance because they're the 3rd seed. So I got the Vikings in this one as well. So what, Drew, you got the Giants, and then me, Prophet, and Rick all have the Vikings. I was close to going to your side, though, Drew. I'm not going to lie.
I'm glad you stayed away from that.
Yeah.
You don't want to
All
go
right.
to his side, man. It's dark.
Sunday night, we got the Ravens, we got the Bengals. Now, a little caveat on this. The Bengals are 6.5-point favorites. I don't know if Lamar Jackson is going to be playing in this game or not. It's still up in the air. So I think that changes a lot of things. But I do know who's in this game for the Bengals, and that's Joe Burrow. That's Jamar Chase. That's Joe Mixon. They're on a roll. Drew, what do you like about this game, man? I like the Bengals. I feel like they have a lot to prove. They didn't have a Super Bowl hangover this year. They're 12-4, 6.5-point favorites at home against the Ravens.
There's not much I don't like about the Bengals here in this game, and there's not much that I do like about the Ravens. I'm going to keep this one short and sweet so we can go to our other panelists here and get to the next game, because this game ain't even going to be close. And if Jackson doesn't play, you guys could forget about it early. You got we talked about it, one of the most high-powered offenses in the NFL, finally clicking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in a row they've won. And the Ravens have just been playing not good football. They've lost 3 out of their last 4, and the one win was a squeaker against the Falcons. Bengals by a lot here, boys. There's not much to it.
Glad he was going to be
It seems like our chat room agrees there too. Seems like it's a clean sweep for the Bengals there in the chat room. Is it going to be is Slick? I know that if Lamar Jackson's playing in this game, does that change anything for you, Slick? Are you going towards the Bengals there?
I chose the Bengals. Even if Lamar Jackson plays, we still don't know what his knee is really like. Like, let's be real, it's the NFL. So, yeah, they had sat him out the last 2 or 3 weeks to get his knee to the point where he can play, but it's still not 100%.
Yeah.
And like OG says all the time, like that's a strong part of his game, using his legs. So we don't know what it would be. And the Bengals, they've been playing hot. They've been playing good ball. Also, the defense for the Ravens, we've been questioning their defense the whole season. So it's
right.
Yeah, I went with the Bengals.
Okay, Prophet, how about you?
Cincinnati's my new favorite team.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I love the fact that they had the balls to call the NFL out last week.
With that kick, with that coin toss celebration,
yeah,
Joe Mixon.
And openly do it, which I thought was absolutely great. Cincinnati rolls in this one. Take Joe Burrow over 1.5 touchdown passes. It's a high number, but it's going to cash.
Oh, that's going to cash for sure. I think he's going to have 3 in this game. 2 to Jamar Chase. I'm calling it right now. Jamar Chase is going to come up big in this game. Get the brooms out because we all have the Bengals in this game. And it's going to be really interesting in the AFC playoffs because I can't wait to see these Chief Bengals matchups or these Chief Bills matchup or Bills Bengals. It's going to be fire in the divisional round. So Bengals all the way in that one. Now the next one, Cowboys at the Buccaneers. Now week 1, the Buccaneers handed Dallas a loss. Am I correct in that?
Yep.
Totally did.
Would be correct.
At home. So now we go into the first round of the playoffs. Does it repeat? Are the Buccaneers going to do the same thing to Dallas, or is Dallas going to get a little bit of revenge? What say you, Drew?
What say me is the theme of the night has been who's hot going into the playoffs. Well, neither one of these teams has been very hot as of late. Okay, but I think the Cowboys have got more firepower and they're playing better defense, and I don't like much of anything about the Buccaneers, and I definitely don't like the way, we talk about Tom Brady being able to elevate the players around him, and he hasn't been able to do that. They backdoored their way into the playoffs. They got a freaking home game that they don't deserve, but that's the way the league works. I get it. But I think Dallas has got a lot to prove here. Not only going out and winning the first game, but winning it in a convincing fashion to say, hey, we're here in the playoffs. We're meant to be here, and we're going to make some noise, and we're going to be tough to beat. I got the Cowboys in this one, and it could be close. It could be not close. It'll tell you which Dallas team I think is here, for time out. So,
yeah. Okay. What do you got in this one, Drew or Rick?
I picked the Cowboys as well. Even though they've been kind of iffy or whatever. I honestly, the Bucks. First of all, I don't like the Bucks. You guys know that.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think. I don't think they'll get it done. Like, I feel Tom Brady has found a way. Well, not just him, but the team in general has found ways to win the last few games to get them in the playoffs. I just don't think they have enough. Well, I won't say I don't think they have enough. I don't think they will do enough to beat the Cowboys.
Okay. I can see that. I can absolutely see that. What about you, Prophet?
And this is the only game that I don't have a good feel on this weekend. I mean, Dallas' strength on the defense, they've had 4 sacks the last 4 games. Tampa Bay's weakness on offense, they've only given up 4 sacks. So I'm leaning towards Tampa, but I just don't see it happening. So I'm going to go with the Cowboys here. And the prop plays are take both Dallas and Tampa Bay for defense, special teams touchdowns this week.
Oh, okay.
That would be a nice
because they're
payout.
so bad.
I bet you that would be. So this game, I can see it going a couple different ways. Dallas traditionally in the playoffs since '95 has struggled in the playoffs. They've been first round exits in a number of different playoffs when they get in. I think that they have a good matchup this week going against a struggling Tampa Bay offense where their offensive line has not been doing well. Dallas and Dan Quinn, the way that he's going to dial up some pressure probably against Tom Brady. And I think the kicker in this is that Tampa Bay has had a real struggle running the ball. And when you have a struggle running the ball, you end up in a lot of 3rd and long situations. And that's going to bode well for Dallas. I think Dallas has a lot of playmakers in Pollard, in Zeke, in CeeDee Lamb. And it just hasn't seemed like the offense for Tampa Bay has really clicked at all at any point this season. It seems like it's been a labor to get to 20 points. So for that reason, this is a completely different matchup than week 1. I got Dallas in this matchup, but I'm going to tell you, if Tampa Bay wins this game, it's going to be because Dallas scores with 2 minutes left and Brady has a ball last. That'll be how Tampa Bay will win this game if they do. And there'll be turnovers all over the place. Dak Prescott's turned over the ball quite a bit in the last couple games too. So I still got Dallas in this one.
I'll probably be sleeping by that time.
Yeah, Monday at 8:15, man. I tell you what.
Monday, I'll be up for the kickoff. I can't promise I'll be awake for the ending.
Well, I mean, I can't wait for it. It's the playoffs, and I can't believe that the whole season has gone right past us. We've gone through 18 weeks, and now we're picking the playoff games, and we're at the end of our first playoff show. And
Pop quiz, hot shot.
Man, you know what time it is. We got our hot shot of the week. I hate it when it does that. Hot shot of the week, boys. So we got all our picks in. Drew, it looks like you got a couple different from us. You got the Jags. You got the Giants.
Of course I do.
I like
you
it.
Gotta keep things
good.
interesting because that's who I am. I keep things interesting on this friggin' show instead of just going with the status quo all the time and going with the easy picks. Like you guys picking all the favorites and the home teams. My hot shot of the week, dude. My hot shot of the week goes to. I didn't really plan this one out, but my hot shot of the week, and it's always a tough time of year. I always tell my wife I love, I love college football so much, but it's always like bittersweet when the national championship game happens because it's over. My hot shot of the week goes to the college football as a whole for providing us with another a great season and a great, fun, entertaining season. And I can't wait until August rolls around and we're able to do this again. My hot shot of the week also goes to the Blitz Nation and getting ready for playoff football and being able to come back and do the show again, man. It's been a long 2 weeks, and I'm excited to be back, and it's been fun. And we were talking about how we're going to fill an hour and 20 minutes, and we've done it easily.
Man,
so,
easily, yeah.
I'm not worried about it. So cheers, boys.
Cheers, man. Cheers. Slick, man, who's your hot shot?
My hot shot of the week goes to actually I have two. They're all
2 shots
within the same deal. Georgia for winning the national championship the way that they did, and also to Bennett, the quarterback. Just his story alone, like
wasn't he a walk-on?
Yes, he was at Georgia as a walk-on, went JUCO, came back, told the coaches, I'm good enough to play. And the thing about it, what I didn't know, when he went JUCO, he won the national championship at the JUCO he went to. Came back to Georgia, kept telling the coaches, I'm good enough to play. No, you're not. You're as good as number 3. JT Dane goes down, and the rest is history. And the kid has won 2 back-to-back.
Yeah.
That's not easy to do. I don't care how good your team is, how good your coaching staff is. That is not easy to do.
Nope.
2 back-to-back.
Convincingly.
Exactly.
I thought it was hilarious that everybody was posting all the memes about Stetson Bennett. It was like Stetson Bennett celebrating winning a national title at 25 years old over kids who had to get their parents to sign their promotion slips less than 8 months ago.
I saw one where it had, oh my gosh, Burt Reynolds on the sideline of the longest yard said Stetson Bennett on the sideline during the national championship game. It's cracking me up.
There were some good ones.
Hey, respect. I respect it. That's hard to do. Back to
Sure.
back. It's hard to get one in his situation.
Well, in the SEC again, and you're not Alabama.
Exactly.
Right? In the SEC, you're competing against Alabama. You're competing against LSU.
Watch out for Alabama for the next 5 to 6 years
Did
after
you
the
see
comment
Pollock?
that David Pollock made.
Yeah.
Oh,
He pissed Saban off royally.
Oh my
He said
God.
Georgia's the crown of
taking over college football.
Oh man, he just gave him the death stare. I'm never coming on this panel again. That was hilarious.
Oh, that was good. That was good. Prophet, who's your hot shot of the week, man?
I'm going to shift gears a little bit here, guys. My hot shot of the week is Peyton Hillis. Past couple of weeks, Damar Hamlin has been in the news all the time, and rightfully so. But not a lot of talk has been made of Peyton Hillis, ex-NFL player who is also and has been for the past 2 weeks on ICU. He went into the water to save his 2 drowning kids and ended up drowning himself. And things aren't looking good for him. So if you can keep him in your prayers too, that would be great.
Absolutely.
Peyton Hillis and his family, I salute you.
Cheers. That's a good one. We weren't on the air last week. My hot shot is the first responders that showed up to really the training staff that came out to help him and resuscitate him and bring him back. Now, the picture I want to paint is, we talked about backup quarterbacks and them basically studying all week for something that's not going to happen for them and to go out there. And oftentimes we see a backup quarterback that might not be as prepared as they should be to go in the game. Well, you think about these first responders, there has never been a situation like that I can remember on the field, at least in the NFL in quite some time, where they've had to resuscitate somebody. So these people are on the sideline, basically it never happens. And then when it did, the way that they reacted, the way that they were able to diagnose what was going on and basically save his life and take care of him the way that they did and handle the situation they did. My hot shot is to all those, whether it's pro, whether it's college, whether it's high school, those people that are off to the side that are waiting for disaster to happen to go on and help somebody when they're injured, when disaster does strike and they're ready for it and they're ready for the moment. I salute you. Thank you so much for helping us keep us safe. We appreciate you, and that's my hot shot of the week, guys.
For sure. For sure.
I can't wait to talk about next week. I can't wait to see what happens. We're going to have highlights. There's going to be a lot of stuff that goes on. Obviously, this is
Maybe
when
we'll get
the
videos
drama
next week.
We're gonna get videos. We're gonna have a lot of drama, obviously, with what happened, bad coaching calls, quarterbacks that played well, quarterbacks that didn't play well in the playoffs. But until then, guys, I can't wait. But we're getting out of here.
Peace out.
Same time next week, guys. See you.
Playoff style, baby.
Playoffs, baby.
Drink them.
Playoffs. Get the shots in.
Go Giants.